The upcoming transit of Venus into Leo from September 15th to October 9th, 2025, carries a unique significance in the ongoing astrological landscape. It's important to highlight that these interpretations are based on Sidereal or Vedic Astrology, which considers a roughly 24-degree variance from the tropical zodiac. Venus, the planet of love, beauty, relationships, art, and wealth, will find itself in the fiery sign of Leo, a domain ruled by the Sun. This period is further intensified because Venus will conjunct Ketu and briefly the Sun, all while the eclipse season unfolds. With the lunar eclipse already having occurred on September 7th in Aquarius and a solar eclipse due on September 21st in Virgo, the energies around this transit are far from ordinary. These overlapping influences mean that Venus's natural significations, love, desire, comfort, harmony, and relationships, will be tested, refined, and transformed in profound ways. Leo, the royal sign of the zodiac, is associated with self-expression, authority, creativity, leadership, and the desire to shine like a king or queen on focus. When Venus enters this sign, themes of glamour, romance, and creative artistry gain prominence, but they are accompanied by an intense need for recognition and appreciation. People may feel drawn to beautify themselves or their surroundings, showcase their talents, and demand acknowledgement for their efforts. At the same time, Leo's fiery and ego-driven energy can sometimes clash with Venus's gentle and harmonious nature. This creates the potential for ego battles in relationships, especially when pride and stubbornness overshadow love and compromise. For some, this transit may spark passionate romance, but for others, it may highlight conflicts in existing partnerships where the balance of attention and respect is uneven. The presence of Ketu in Leo makes this period even more karmic. Ketu, the south node of the moon, is a planet of separation, detachment, and past life karmas. When Venus comes into conjunction with Ketu, it often exposes hidden truths about relationships and desires. This transit may bring encounters with people who feel oddly familiar, carrying a karmic connection from past lives. Ketu's influence tends to detach and dissolve worldly attachments, which means that relationships beginning under this transit may carry undertones of isolation, misunderstandings, or even sudden endings. Those already in committed partnerships may face phases of distance or emotional separation, not necessarily as a permanent break but as a period of realization and spiritual growth. The ultimate lesson of Venus Ketu is that relationships are not just about passion and romance but also about karmic balance, spiritual awareness, and selflessness. Spiritually, this transit can be powerful for creative and devotional expression. Leo as a sign thrives on performance, drama, and showcasing talent, while Venus naturally represents art, music, and beauty. Many people may feel inspired to express themselves through creative pursuits, whether that be in performing arts, writing, design, or even spiritual practices that involve devotion and ritual beauty. Ketu's presence can redirect Venus's energy away from superficial glamour and toward a more profound, spiritualized creativity. Instead of just wanting attention, individuals may feel called to use their talents in service to others or as a form of offering to the divine. In this sense, the transit offers a chance to transform ego-driven creativity into soulful expression. Financially, the transit requires caution. Venus rules wealth and conveniences, and in Leo, people may feel compelled to spend more on luxury items, fashion, entertainment, or status symbols. With Ketu's influence and the overshadowing of eclipses, sudden financial fluctuations are possible. One may feel dissatisfied even after spending, or unexpected expenses may arise. This is a period where restraint and wise choices are advised rather than indulgence. For those in creative professions, opportunities to gain recognition and attract financial rewards through artistic or innovative work may present themselves, albeit with challenges and competition. Ultimately, the Venus transit in Leo from September 15th to October 9th, 2025, is a period of heightened emotional and creative energy, but one that comes with tests of ego, detachment, and karmic lessons in love. The fiery stage of Leo will certainly spotlight themes of romance, art, and self-expression, but the conjunction with Ketu and the surrounding eclipse energies remind us that not everything that glitters is gold. Relationships, finances, and desires may undergo sudden shifts, urging people to distinguish between illusion and reality, between ego-driven attachment and genuine devotion. Venus represents love and activities that bring joy. As Venus transits through different houses for approximately 25 days, it signifies an increased inclination towards activities associated with that specific house. The final outcomes may vary based on the dignity of Venus in the birth chart, but the common thread is an affinity towards engagements related to the house Venus is currently transiting. Venus primarily influences the Moon and Mercury and is relatively susceptible to the influence of malefic planets such as the Sun, Mars, Saturn, Rahu, and Ketu. To accurately assess the impact of these transits, it is crucial to consider your ascendant and moon signs. The ascendant sign offers insights into the timing of life events, while the moon sign reveals how you will emotionally respond to these changes. Take into account the position of your current Mahadasha Lord in your birth chart, as it can shed light on how these transits will influence the recurring themes of your current dasha period. This transit may manifest differently for each individual, and how they navigate this transit will depend on their personal charts. A more precise understanding of the impact of this transit can be gained by examining Venus's Ashtaka Varga score in Leo. Keep in mind that the effects of this transit are contingent on Venus's interaction with the planets in individual birth charts. It's also worth noting that individuals currently experiencing the influence of Venus Dasha may feel the effects of this transit more intensely. To understand how this transit may affect you based on your zodiac sign and the houses it transits, let's delve into those specifics. For Aries, Venus is a highly significant planet as it governs both the second house of family, speech, wealth, and values, and the seventh house of partnerships, marriage, and business alliances. Its upcoming transit in Leo, which represents your fifth house of creativity, romance, children, intelligence, and speculative pursuits, will draw attention toward matters of the heart, self-expression, and the way you relate to loved ones. Since Venus will be conjunct Ketu during this transit, the energy will not flow in its usual harmonious or indulgent way. Instead, there may be a certain detachment, karmic undertones, or lack of clarity in romantic and creative matters. This makes the period both spiritually significant and somewhat challenging, as it demands maturity, discernment, and deeper reflection. The fifth house naturally relates to love, romance, and personal expression, and when Venus enters here, it usually brings joy, opportunities for creative projects, and warmth in relationships. Ketu's influence tends to dissolve worldly expectations, creating feelings of disconnection or uncertainty. For Aries individuals, this may manifest as questioning the true nature of love, detachment from romantic desires, or feeling that affection is not fully reciprocated. Some may find themselves less inclined toward worldly pleasure and more drawn toward spiritual or mystical expressions of love. In relationships, this can either bring a phase of introspection where both partners reevaluate their bond or cause misunderstandings if expectations are not aligned. Saturn, currently retrograding in Pisces in your 12th house, intensifies the reflective quality of this period. The 12th house governs isolation, expenses, spirituality, and subconscious patterns. Saturn retrograde here brings karmic lessons that often make you look at what has been avoided or suppressed. For Aries individuals, this may be a time where hidden patterns in relationships or family matters come to light. Since Venus rules both the second and seventh houses for you, its timing with Saturn's retrograde themes indicates a karmic cleansing in financial partnerships, family responsibilities, or marital matters. You may need to restructure your values or let go of illusions in relationships. Saturn in the 12th also demands a more disciplined approach to finances, as unnecessary expenditures can pile up if not carefully managed. Jupiter's transit in Gemini in your third house brings some balance and optimism during this period. The third house governs communication, courage, siblings, skills, and short journeys. With Jupiter here, Aries individuals are encouraged to expand their knowledge, communicate with more wisdom, and cultivate harmonious connections with siblings or close friends. Jupiter's presence in the third house strengthens your intellectual pursuits, which can be useful while Venus is in your fifth house, as it supports creativity, writing, and artistic expression. If you are involved in learning new skills, teaching, or exploring business ventures that involve communication, Jupiter's influence will help you. Since Venus is conjunct Ketu, your creative endeavors may initially lack clarity or direction until Jupiter provides the necessary insight and expansion. The solar eclipse on September 21, 2025, in Virgo will occur in your sixth house of work, health, and daily responsibilities. Eclipses often bring sudden revelations, turning points, or endings, and with exalted Mercury also present in Virgo, the emphasis will be on clear communication, analysis, and practicality. For Aries individuals, this eclipse can highlight hidden issues in the workplace, health routines, or relationships with coworkers. It may reveal where imbalances exist in your daily life, requiring adjustments. Since Venus rules your seventh house, this eclipse could also indirectly influence partnerships, bringing karmic shifts in how responsibilities are shared in relationships. It is wise to avoid impulsive decisions around this time, as eclipse energy can be confusing and unstable. The timing of planetary movements in mid-September adds more depth to this Venus transit. On September 15th, Mercury leaves Leo and enters Virgo, its sign of exaltation. This movement happens almost simultaneously as Venus enters Leo, meaning the energy of creativity, romance, and expression undergoes a shift. For Aries, this suggests that while Venus struggles with clarity in love and self-expression due to Ketu's influence, Mercury strengthens your ability to analyze and focus on practical matters, especially work and health. The shift from Leo to Virgo highlights the contrast between personal expression and service, urging Aries individuals to balance creativity with responsibility. Adding further complexity, Mars, your sign ruler, will transit Libra starting September 13th, moving into your 7th house of partnerships. This is an important transit, as it directly activates relationship themes. Mars in Libra seeks balance but often struggles with conflicts, as it brings assertiveness into partnerships. On October 3rd, Mercury will also enter Libra, joining Mars in the 7th house. This conjunction can create a powerful mix of communication and action in relationships. For Aries people, this is a time when partnerships may experience debates, negotiations, or even conflicts that require balance and diplomacy. While Venus in the 5th house emphasizes matters of love and creativity, Mars and Mercury in the 7th will demand practical conversations about long-term commitment and fairness. The balance between love and responsibility will be a key theme during this period. Children, education, and creative pursuits also come under the spotlight during Venus's stay in the 5th house. Those with children may notice that their children's needs, education, or behavior demand more attention. Venus conjunct Ketu can sometimes bring detachment or misunderstandings in relationships with children, but it can also make you more reflective about your role as a parent. If you are pursuing education, especially in artistic or creative fields, this is a time to focus more on the spiritual or deeper purpose behind your studies rather than immediate recognition. Speculative activities like stock trading or gambling are risky under this influence, as Ketu clouds judgment, and eclipses further destabilize financial predictions. Caution is advised if you are tempted toward quick gains. Health and well-being cannot be overlooked during this period. The 5th house also relates to vitality and the stomach area, and Venus here can sometimes indicate indulgence or imbalances, especially when linked with Ketu. Saturn retrograde in the 12th further highlights the need for rest and discipline in managing health. This is an excellent period to establish routines that balance physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being. Meditation or creative outlets that provide emotional release will be highly beneficial. Since the solar eclipse falls in your 6th house, health routines and diet will be under scrutiny, and any negligence can bring sudden consequences. Overall, Venus's transit through Leo in the 5th house for Aries individuals is a karmic yet transformative period that deeply influences love, creativity, children, and relationships. Venus conjunct Ketu dissolves superficial attachments, urging you to seek higher meaning in relationships and self-expression. If approached with patience and awareness, this period can help Aries individuals align their values with their actions, bringing clarity to love and creativity, and strengthening the foundation of relationships for the long term. For Taurus, Venus holds a very special place in the birth chart as it governs both the 1st house of self, health, personality, and overall direction of life, as well as the 6th house of work, daily routines, debts, health challenges, and service. Its transit into Leo, your 4th house of home, family, comfort, property, and emotional security, is a significant period, especially because Venus attains directional strength in this house. When a planet gains directional strength, its capacity to express itself and deliver results becomes stronger, meaning Venus will have a heightened influence in your life during this transit. This is not a straightforward movement of Venus, as it comes under the influence of Ketu in Leo, which adds layers of detachment, karmic lessons, and spiritual undertones to matters of home, family, and emotional fulfillment. The 4th house in Vedic astrology represents your mother, domestic happiness, property, vehicles, and emotional peace. Venus's presence here generally enhances comfort, creates a desire for beauty in the home, and strengthens bonds with family members. You may feel inclined toward redecorating your space, investing in property, or creating a more harmonious environment within the household. Yet, with Ketu's conjunction, the results may not manifest in a straightforward materialistic way. Instead, you may experience a sense of detachment from worldly comforts, or even dissatisfaction despite having access to them. For some Taurus individuals, this may bring about a longing for deeper peace that material possessions alone cannot satisfy. The karmic energy of Ketu can sometimes trigger sudden changes in home life, like shifting residence, family disagreements, or even unexpected property-related matters that redirect your attention toward a more spiritual or inward form of happiness. Since Venus rules your first house, its position reflects your overall approach and state of mind. In the fourth house with Ketu, you may feel as though your sense of self is tied to resolving matters at home or addressing emotional concerns. On one hand, this can bring you closer to your inner truth, but on the other, it may temporarily affect your sense of direction if you feel unsupported by your family or disconnected from your emotional roots. Venus also rules your sixth house, so its transit here can highlight work-life balance. The connection between the fourth and sixth houses may bring workplace pressures into the home environment, or vice versa. For example, issues at work could spill into family life, creating a need to consciously manage boundaries. Alternatively, you may feel motivated to set up work-from-home arrangements or manage tasks from a domestic space. Saturn, currently retrograding in Pisces, your 11th house, plays an important role in shaping this Venus transit. The 11th house represents gains, social networks, elder siblings, and long-term ambitions. With Saturn retrograde, these areas are under review, making you rethink your social circles, goals, and the way you pursue material success. Jupiter's transit through Gemini in your second house brings a positive influence that helps balance the challenges of Venus conjunct Ketu. The second house governs speech, wealth, family values, and resources. With Jupiter here, there is an expansion of financial opportunities, wisdom in managing resources, and a greater sense of alignment with your values. Since Venus rules your first house, Jupiter's influence helps you express yourself more positively and handle domestic and financial issues with maturity. This is a supportive placement that can ease tensions at home by bringing understanding in family discussions, especially during a period when Ketu may otherwise create misunderstandings. A pivotal event during this period is the solar eclipse on September 21, 2025, in Virgo, which is your fifth house. Since this eclipse happens soon after Venus enters Leo, the energy of the fourth and fifth houses becomes tightly linked. You may experience shifts in your emotional world, relationships with children, or your ability to express creativity. Eclipses often bring revelations or sudden endings, so this could be a period when you realize which relationships or creative projects are aligned with your true purpose and which are not. Exalted Mercury ensures that clarity eventually emerges, but initially, the eclipse energy may feel destabilizing. Mars's transit through Libra, your sixth house, beginning September 13th, adds another important dimension. Mars will cast its eighth aspect on Taurus, directly influencing your first house. This can stir restlessness, bring health concerns to the forefront, or make you more assertive in dealing with obstacles. Mars in the sixth usually provides the courage to overcome enemies, debts, or work-related pressures, but it can also make you more prone to conflicts if not handled carefully. Since Libra ruler Venus is in the fourth house during this time, Mars's aspect can trigger disputes at home or with family members, especially if stress from work or health matters is not managed properly. The key here is to channel Mars's energy into discipline and determination rather than anger or impatience. Venus in the fourth house also strongly highlights relationships with the mother or maternal figures. Some Taurus individuals may experience detachment in this relationship due to Ketu's influence, while others may feel compelled to provide more care and support to their mothers. Property-related matters may arise suddenly, and while Venus normally favors property gains, Ketu's involvement can bring unexpected complications or hidden issues that need resolution before progress can be made. This is a time to carefully review legal documents and avoid impulsive decisions related to real estate. On a personal level, this transit invites you to reevaluate what truly makes you feel secure and at peace. While external comforts are important, Ketu in the fourth with Venus reminds you that real happiness comes from within. Spiritual practices, meditation, or creating a more serene environment at home will help you find balance. The combination of Saturn retrograde, Jupiter's wisdom, and Venus Ketu in the fourth suggests that you are being guided to create stability not just externally but also internally. Overall, Venus's transit through Leo in the fourth house is a deeply transformative period for Taurus individuals. Venus's directional strength enhances its ability to influence family, property, and emotional life, but Ketu's conjunction ensures that you cannot simply rely on material comfort for happiness. If navigated with patience, awareness, and a willingness to look inward, this period can help Taurus individuals build a stronger emotional foundation, one that is not easily shaken by external circumstances. For Gemini, the movement of Venus into Leo in the third house opens an important chapter in self-expression, communication, and personal confidence. Venus governs your 5th house of creativity, romance, and children, as well as your 12th house of hidden matters, spirituality, and foreign connections. When Venus, the planet of charm and harmony, enters the 3rd house, it directs your focus to how you communicate, how you interact with siblings or close circles, and how courage plays a role in your life. The placement often enhances eloquence, artistic expression, and the ability to persuade or charm through speech. This transit is more complex than usual because Venus will be conjunct Ketu in Leo, creating a spiritual undertone to what would otherwise be a socially vibrant period. Ketu's influence on Venus in the 3rd house can manifest as both a gift and a challenge. On the one hand, your words may carry unusual weight, and people may find your communication profound or even mystical. On the other hand, you may feel detached from everyday social interactions, preferring deeper, meaningful conversations over superficial talk. For those involved in writing, teaching, or public speaking, this period could mark the beginning of a unique voice that stands apart from others, though it may also make you feel misunderstood at times. Since Venus also rules your 12th house, there may be opportunities for creative work or communication that connects to foreign lands, spirituality, or behind-the-scenes projects. The presence of Ketu suggests that these gains may come with sacrifices or detachment, such as working hard without immediate recognition or finding that what once excited you no longer carries the same joy. Saturn's retrograde in Pisces continues to cast a significant influence on your 10th house of career and public reputation. For Geminis, this is a period of re-examining professional responsibilities, authority figures, and the structures you've built in your work life. Saturn retrograde asks you to reflect on whether your ambitions are aligned with your true values and whether discipline and patience are guiding your path. In connection with Venus conjunct Ketu in Leo, there could be a sense of questioning about how much of your professional life is truly fulfilling and how much is being pursued for external validation. It may feel like a time when you are carrying heavier responsibilities without immediate rewards, but the long-term lesson is about resilience and building a career on authenticity rather than temporary desires. Jupiter's transit through Gemini, your 1st house sign, adds another layer of significance. Jupiter expands your identity, personality, and overall life outlook, blessing you with wisdom and optimism. As Venus enters your 3rd house, Jupiter enhances your ability to use communication, teaching, or intellectual pursuits as a path for growth. This transit increases your charisma, making you more appealing in social and professional networks. Venus in the 3rd house could inspire flirtatious interactions or romantic exchanges through conversations, travel, or shared hobbies. With Ketu influencing Venus, there may be an undercurrent of detachment, where even as opportunities for romance or social engagement arise, you may feel a need to pull back or seek something deeper than what surface-level interactions can offer. The solar eclipse on September 21, 2025, in Virgo falls in your 4th house, a pivotal sector connected to home, family, property, and emotional roots. This eclipse suggests sudden changes or revelations regarding your domestic life or emotional stability. You may face circumstances that prompt you to rethink your living situation, family dynamics, or even how you nurture yourself. Since Venus conjunct Ketu in the 3rd house interacts with this eclipse energy, matters of communication within the family could come to the forefront. There may be difficult conversations, but ultimately they push you toward clarity and emotional healing. Exalted Mercury ensures that the eventual decisions made after the eclipse will be rational and grounded, though during the days surrounding the event, confusion or temporary disruptions are possible. Mercury's movements are also vital in shaping this period. On September 15th, Mercury leaves Leo as Venus enters, moving into Virgo where it is exalted. For Gemini, this highlights your 4th house, strengthening your ability to organize and bring order to domestic matters. This can be a time of detailed planning regarding property, vehicles, or household responsibilities. Then, as Mercury enters Libra on October 3rd, it joins Mars in your 5th house, igniting passion and energy in romance, creativity, and speculative activities. This conjunction creates a fiery influence, encouraging bold ideas and strong expression in love life or artistic pursuits. While this can make you more confident in matters of the heart, it may also lead to heated arguments if communication is not balanced with patience. The combination of Mercury and Mars ensures that your creativity and ideas flow with great energy, but it requires careful management to avoid impulsiveness. Financially, Venus in the 3rd house may not directly signify huge gains, but it does point to opportunities through networking, short journeys, communication-based projects, or sibling-related collaborations. Since Venus rules your 12th house, expenses could rise, particularly on travel, gadgets, or pursuits that enhance your learning and creativity. Some of these expenses may be beneficial investments in the long run, though Ketu's presence may bring moments of questioning whether such expenditures are truly necessary. Jupiter's influence in your first house helps balance these tendencies, allowing you to see the bigger picture and avoid excessive worry. On a personal level, this Venus-Ketu conjunction may spark a deeper journey of self-expression. You may begin to notice that old ways of communicating no longer suit you, and you feel drawn toward a more authentic, soulful voice. Artistic and creative activities can flourish under this influence, but they may carry a contemplative or even spiritual tone. Instead of producing work solely for recognition, you may find satisfaction in expression that feels healing or transformative, even if it doesn't immediately gain public acknowledgement. For students or learners, this is a period to deepen focus and cultivate skills with patience, while recognizing that progress may not always appear linear. Relationships with siblings or neighbors may also undergo shifts. The third house governs such bonds, and with Venus conjunct Ketu here, there may be moments of detachment or misunderstandings. It can also bring a karmic reconnection, where you heal or release old dynamics with siblings or extended family members. Clear communication will be the key, especially as Mercury's exalted position in Virgo supports thoughtful expression. Overall, for Gemini individuals, the transit of Venus into Leo in the third house in September 2025 weaves together themes of communication, creativity, relationships, and spiritual growth. Venus conjunct Ketu brings both charm and detachment, pushing you to redefine how you connect with others and what you truly value in social and creative pursuits. If embraced with awareness, this phase can help you shed outdated ways of thinking and speaking, replacing them with a more authentic and spiritually aligned voice that carries you forward with strength and clarity. For Cancer, the upcoming transit of Venus into Leo in the second house carries profound themes of values, family, wealth, and self-worth. Venus, as the ruler of your 11th house of gains and friendships and your 4th house of home and inner peace, naturally connects your sense of emotional security with your material stability. Now, as Venus enters the second house, it directs focus toward how you earn, save, and spend money, while also influencing your speech, family relationships, and inherited values. This transit becomes even more powerful because Venus will be conjunct Ketu in Leo, creating a unique mixture of charm and detachment. The influence of Ketu on Venus in Leo brings a karmic undertone to matters of speech, wealth, and family harmony. You may experience sudden shifts in your financial landscape, unexpected gains or expenses that highlight the impermanence of material security. At the same time, your speech may carry unusual depth or detachment, which could either attract admiration for its honesty or cause misunderstandings if others find it blunt. Since Venus represents harmony and Ketu represents release, you may find yourself withdrawing from superficial pleasures or friendships that no longer resonate with your true values. This is an excellent period for inner reflection about what truly brings happiness and comfort. For some Cancerians, this may manifest as a deeper interest in spiritual wealth or non-material forms of abundance, such as love, knowledge, and emotional fulfillment. Saturn's retrograde in Pisces during this time has a strong influence on your broader outlook, philosophy, and higher learning. Pisces falls in your 9th house, the domain of dharma, long journeys, teachers, and belief systems. With Saturn retracing its steps here, you may be re-examining your faith, your approach to knowledge, or even your relationship with mentors and authority figures. Meanwhile, Jupiter is transiting your 12th house in Gemini, creating an expansive yet reflective energy around your subconscious, spirituality, and hidden aspects of life. Jupiter here often increases expenditures, particularly on spiritual practices, foreign connections, or health-related needs. With Venus activating your 2nd house, you may feel the duality of both earning and spending more during this period. Financial flow is possible, but so are indulgences that may reduce savings. Jupiter in the 12th can also bless you with a higher sense of detachment from material anxieties, giving you a chance to embrace compassion, generosity, and faith in the unseen. For Cancerians inclined towards spiritual work, meditation, or charitable efforts, this is a period where inner peace may feel more fulfilling than outer riches. The solar eclipse on September 21, 2025, in Virgo falls in your 3rd house of communication, courage, siblings, and skills. This eclipse has the potential to shake up how you communicate and express yourself. There may be revelations about relationships with siblings or shifts in how you pursue skills and hobbies. The exalted Mercury in Virgo ensures that clarity will eventually emerge, but during the eclipse itself, confusion or sudden changes may occur. Because Venus conjunct Ketu in your 2nd house overlaps with this eclipse energy, themes of speech, writing, and communication become doubly important. You may feel compelled to let go of old ways of expressing yourself, embracing a more refined or spiritually aligned voice. This period can also awaken new talents or give you the courage to speak about deeper truths that were previously left unspoken. Your ruling planet, the Moon, will briefly transit Leo on September 19th to 20th, joining Venus and Ketu in the second house just before the eclipse. This alignment is emotionally intense for Cancerians, as it activates your sense of security, nourishment, and family bonds. The Moon's presence here can heighten sensitivity about finances, family harmony, or self-worth issues. You may feel temporarily unsettled, as though your emotional comfort is being tested. This is also a chance to realign with your values and let go of attachments that are no longer fulfilling. The Moon's fleeting conjunction with Venus and Ketu may trigger short-lived emotional fluctuations, but it also brings the opportunity for healing conversations within family or a new perspective on money and values. Mercury's movements during this period are also highly significant. On September 15th, Mercury leaves Leo just as Venus enters, moving into Virgo where it is exalted. This shift strengthens your ability to think clearly, analyze effectively, and communicate with precision. Since Virgo is your third house, this further emphasizes themes of skills, learning, and short journeys. You may find yourself interested in courses, writing, or improving communication techniques. Then, as Mercury enters Libra on October 3rd, it joins Mars in your fourth house, sparking dynamic energy around home, family, and emotional foundations. This conjunction may create both opportunities and challenges in your domestic life. Communication at home may become more direct, and at times confrontational, but it also provides the courage to resolve lingering issues. Romantically, Venus's transit in the second house can bring a greater desire for stability in relationships. Since Venus also rules your 11th house of desires and friendships, this period may encourage you to seek relationships that offer both emotional connection and long-term security. The influence of Ketu suggests that not all romantic or social interactions will satisfy you. Some relationships may feel draining, and you may feel the urge to distance yourself from superficial bonds. Those already in relationships may need to have meaningful conversations about shared values, finances, or family matters to ensure stability. Jupiter in the 12th adds a spiritual dimension to love, making this a time where unconditional support and empathy become essential in partnerships. Financially, this period is a mix of gains and detachment. Venus in the second typically supports income, but Ketu's presence suggests sudden fluctuations or a sense that money is not providing lasting satisfaction. You may earn, but you may also question whether the pursuit of wealth alone truly fulfills you. Investments should be approached carefully during this time, especially around the eclipse period, when clarity may be clouded. It is wiser to avoid impulsive financial decisions and instead focus on long-term stability. At the same time, Jupiter in the May 12th increased charitable instincts, leading you to spend on causes close to your heart. Overall, for Cancer individuals, Venus's transit in Leo in the second house in September 2025 is a transformative phase that redefines values, wealth, and emotional security. With Venus conjunct Ketu, Saturn retrograde in Pisces, Jupiter in Gemini, and the solar eclipse in Virgo, the universe is guiding you to look beyond material comforts and anchor yourself in deeper truths. While finances, family, and speech may undergo shifts, the true lesson lies in embracing detachment, refining communication, and aligning wealth with purpose. If approached consciously, this period can strengthen both your material foundation and your spiritual resilience, allowing you to emerge more grounded and self-assured. For Leo, the movement of Venus into your first house is a highly significant event, especially since it occurs in your first house sign, which directly influences your personality, appearance, and overall approach to life. Venus governs your 10th house of career, authority, and public reputation, along with your 3rd house of communication, courage, and younger siblings. With Venus stepping into Leo, the emphasis naturally falls on charm, creativity, and self-expression. The 1st house represents how you project yourself to the world, your physical vitality, and the way people perceive you, so Venus's presence here will make you more magnetic, artistic, and pleasant to others. People may be naturally drawn to your personality during this time. This transit also carries a more complex undertone, because Venus will conjunct Ketu in Leo, a combination that can blur lines between desire and detachment, between charm and withdrawal. While you may radiate attraction outwardly, internally you could feel an unusual disconnect from the very attention you are receiving. The Venus-Ketu conjunction in your 1st house has a karmic undertone. Ketu often represents past life baggage and unfinished karmas, while Venus is the planet of relationships, beauty, and comforts. Together in the 1st house, this can create a push-pull dynamic between wanting to express yourself attractively and feeling detached from validation or admiration. Others may notice you appearing more radiant or stylish, Yet you might question the deeper meaning of appearances and social charm. In terms of relationships, this conjunction may bring karmic encounters with partners or individuals who have a significant role in your spiritual growth. Some Leo individuals may find themselves drawn towards someone mysterious or spiritually inclined, while others may feel disillusioned with love matters, realizing that external attention doesn't necessarily bring fulfillment. Career and professional life also come into focus during this transit. Since Venus rules your 10th house, its placement in your first house suggests that career visibility will be directly tied to your personality and self-presentation. You may be in the spotlight at work, perhaps given more responsibilities or asked to represent your organization publicly. Creativity and diplomacy could play a big role in how you're perceived professionally. With Ketu in conjunction, you may experience moments of isolation or dissatisfaction, even when recognition is coming your way. This is a time when it becomes important to evaluate whether your career is aligned with your true passions, or if you are simply playing a role to meet external expectations. The influence of Venus ensures you can maintain harmony and charm in workplace interactions, but Ketu reminds you not to get too attached to fleeting recognition. Saturn's retrograde in Pisces affects your 8th house of transformation, shared resources, and hidden matters. This is a slow and introspective transit, forcing you to reflect deeply on issues of control, intimacy, and long-term financial security. While Venus in your first house may make you outwardly charming, Saturn retrograde continues to push you to confront fears or past unresolved issues beneath the surface. Some Leo individuals may be required to manage shared finances carefully or face responsibilities related to inheritance, taxes, or debts. On a psychological level, Saturn retrograde creates a serious undertone, urging you to dig into your subconscious patterns and transform them. When combined with Venus conjunct Ketu, this suggests that relationships and self-image may go through testing moments, requiring maturity, patience, and a willingness to let go of illusions about others, or yourself. Jupiter's ongoing transit through Gemini activates your 11th house of gains, friendships, and social networks. This is a highly beneficial influence, expanding your opportunities for growth through associations and collective endeavors. For Leo individuals, Jupiter's presence in the 11th house brings support from friends, mentors, or communities, and may increase your visibility in social or professional networks. During Venus's transit in your first house, this energy creates a balance. While Jupiter brings outward expansion and social engagement, Venus conjunct Ketu encourages inward reflection on whether these connections are meaningful. The solar eclipse on September 21, 2025, occurs in Virgo, your second house of wealth, family, and values. This eclipse is particularly important because Sun is your ruling planet, in conjunction with exalted Mercury. The second house governs not just money and resources, but also speech and self-worth. Eclipses often bring sudden revelations or endings, so during this period, you may experience transformative shifts related to finances or family dynamics. It could be a time when financial planning needs adjustments, or when you reevaluate the true source of your security and self-esteem. With exalted Mercury guiding this eclipse, there is a strong analytical energy that can help you make rational choices about investments, savings, or family obligations. The effect of Ketu may also create a sense of detachment, where you realize that material accumulation alone does not define your worth. This theme directly connects to Venus in your first house. While external beauty, recognition, and wealth may be present, the real work lies in aligning them with your inner values and sense of authenticity. On September 15th, Mercury leaves Leo just as Venus enters, moving into Virgo, its exalted sign, activating your second house. This strengthens practical thinking and communication around finances, making it an excellent time to organize resources, set budgets, or make clear agreements related to money or family matters. Later, on October 3rd, Mercury moves into Libra and joins Mars in your third house. This combination energizes communication, writing, and short journeys, but it may also make speech more sharp or confrontational. On a personal level, Venus's transit in your first house can encourage you to pay more attention to your appearance, grooming, and overall style. You may feel inclined to update your wardrobe, experiment with artistic self-expression, or engage in activities that enhance your charm. Socially, people will notice you more during this time, and opportunities for romance or partnerships may increase. Yet with Ketu's influence, you may feel a paradoxical detachment, outwardly admired but inwardly questioning the true value of such attention. This can create a spiritual turning point, where you begin to redefine beauty not just as physical appeal but as harmony and authenticity. Financially, there may be mixed signals during this period. Venus as the 10th lord in the first house suggests that career opportunities could lead to financial gains, but the solar eclipse in the second house indicates sudden shifts or adjustments in how income flows or how family resources are managed. Careful financial planning is advised, especially around the time of the eclipse. Expenses related to appearances, luxuries, or self-presentation may also rise during this transit. Overall, for Leo individuals, the transit of Venus into your first house in September 2025 brings visibility, charm, and opportunities for self-expression, but it also carries the karmic undertone of Ketu, reminding you to detach from superficial recognition and focus on authenticity. If navigated with awareness, this transit offers the chance to redefine how you present yourself to the world, ensuring that your charm and success align with deeper truths and long-term fulfillment. For Virgo, Venus's transit into the 12th house in Leo around mid-September 2025 marks a deeply introspective and karmically significant phase. Venus governs your 9th house of fortune, higher wisdom, and long-distance journeys, along with your 2nd house of wealth, speech, and family values. When it enters the 12th house of foreign lands, expenditure, solitude, and spiritual retreats, these areas of life undergo a subtle but powerful transformation. The fact that Venus will conjunct Ketu in Leo makes this transit more complex, pointing to karmic releases, hidden realizations, and a sense of detachment from worldly pleasures. While Venus generally brings harmony, love, and comforts, Ketu can eclipse or spiritualize these themes, pushing you to seek meaning beyond the material plane. Relationships during this period may take on a mystical or karmic tone. With Venus, the planet of love, joining Ketu in your 12th house, hidden aspects of your partnerships could come to the surface. Some Virgo individuals may encounter karmic partners who enter their lives briefly but leave a profound impact, while others may feel a sense of distance or separation in existing relationships. The 12th house often indicates what lies beyond conscious control, so your experiences in love during this period may feel faded, as though they are unfolding according to a deeper plan rather than personal effort. There may also be an urge to withdraw from the usual social circles, preferring solitude, reflection, or even a retreat from worldly distractions. On the other hand, for those already in committed relationships, this transit can bring healing through spiritual practices, shared meditative activities, or journeys together to foreign places. Financially, Venus as the ruler of your 2nd house moving into the 12th suggests increased expenses. These could be linked to luxury, comfort, or foreign dealings. Some Virgo individuals may find themselves spending on travel, spiritual retreats, artistic pursuits, or charitable activities. The presence of Ketu in this house may make you less concerned with accumulating wealth and more inclined toward using resources for higher purposes. It is important to remain practical, as the 12th house can also indicate losses or unplanned expenditures. Careful financial management is essential, particularly because the solar eclipse on September 21, 2025, takes place in your 1st house, directly affecting your sense of identity and how you handle material stability. Around the eclipse period, financial decisions should be taken with caution, as matters may not appear fully clear. Career-wise, this period could feel uncertain but also transformative. Since Venus rules your 9th house of Dharma and fortune, its transit into the 12th house could indicate opportunities linked to foreign lands, spiritual organizations, or behind-the-scenes work. You may feel less inclined to pursue traditional career recognition and more drawn toward meaningful or service-oriented roles. Jupiter's transit in Gemini through your 10th house amplifies professional expansion and visibility, which counterbalances the more inward-looking energy of Venus in the 12th. While Jupiter pushes you forward in career, Venus conjunct Ketu invites you to reflect on whether your success aligns with your soul's path. Some Virgo individuals may experience sudden changes in professional direction, with possibilities of working with international clients, spiritual fields, or creative industries. Saturn's retrograde in Pisces impacts your 7th house of partnerships, further influencing how relationships unfold during this time. This transit often slows down or tests commitments, urging patience, responsibility, and maturity in dealing with partners. Combined with Venus conjunct Ketu in your 12th, there may be phases of disconnection, misunderstandings, or reevaluation in partnerships. For single Virgo individuals, this could be a time of karmic encounters that feel destined yet fleeting. For those already married or committed, Saturn's retrograde teaches endurance, asking you to work through challenges with steady effort rather than seeking instant harmony. The spiritual undertone is strong here. Both Venus in the 12th and Saturn retrograde in the 7th point to relationships being tested not on superficial grounds, but on depth, endurance, and karmic balance. The solar eclipse on September 21, 2025, in your own sign Virgo, is one of the most defining events of this period. With your chart ruler Mercury exalted and closely involved in the eclipse, This is a time of profound self-redefinition. The eclipse may bring sudden shifts in your identity, appearance, or life direction. You may feel compelled to shed old versions of yourself, leaving behind outdated roles, habits, or attachments. Since the Sun is your 12th house lord, themes of detachment, endings, and spiritual awakening are highlighted. This connects strongly with Venus conjunct Ketu in your 12th house, signaling that this is not a time to cling tightly to material or ego-driven desires. Instead, it is a period to surrender and realign with your higher calling. Mercury's movements during this time are also highly influential. On September 15th, Mercury moves into Virgo, its exalted sign, and enters your first house. This brings clarity, strong intellect, and practical problem-solving skills, allowing you to navigate the otherwise confusing influence of Venus Ketu and the solar eclipse. Your communication sharpens, and you may feel more confident in expressing yourself logically and persuasively. By October 3rd, Mercury enters Libra and joins Mars in your second house. This combination can energize finances and speech but may also make conversations more assertive or even confrontational. It will be important to manage words carefully, especially with family members or in financial negotiations, to avoid conflicts. On a personal and psychological level, this Venus-Ketu transit through your 12th house can bring heightened dreams, intuition, and spiritual sensitivity. You may notice an increase in symbolic dreams, subconscious insights, or even mystical experiences that guide you toward deeper truths. Virgo individuals who engage in meditation may find this to be a highly transformative period where spiritual practices open new dimensions of awareness. Yet, this same transit may also stir restlessness or escapist tendencies, so balancing spiritual pursuits with grounded responsibilities is key. Health should also be monitored during this period, as the 12th house relates to rest and vitality. Venus here may tempt you into overindulgence or late-night routines that disrupt balance, while Ketu could create unusual or unclear symptoms. Ensuring proper sleep, balanced diet, and stress management will be necessary. The solar eclipse in your first house may temporarily affect physical energy or bring awareness to health patterns that need attention. Overall, for Virgo individuals, the transit of Venus through the 12th house in Leo, alongside Ketu, is not a lighthearted period but rather one of karmic clearing, spiritual awakening, and reevaluating attachments. This is a period where you are being asked to release old desires, detach from illusions, and move closer to your authentic spiritual path. While the outer world may present financial and relationship adjustments, the inner world holds the greatest treasures of this time. By embracing solitude, reflection, and spiritual practice, you can navigate this period not just with grace but with the deeper wisdom that your soul seeks. For Libra, the month of September 2025 carries immense significance, as multiple planetary movements converge to activate major areas of your life. Venus, your first house ruler and also the lord of your 8th house, will move into Leo on September 15th, entering your 11th house of gains, networks, social circles, and long-term desires. This transit comes with heightened intensity because Venus will be conjunct Ketu in Leo, blending charm and detachment in matters of friendships, ambitions, and fulfillment of goals. For Libra individuals, Venus's movements are always critical, as they directly influence both your identity and your life path. But in this case, its connection with Ketu suggests that your approach to desires, achievements, and social recognition may undergo significant reorientation. The 11th house is naturally associated with material and social gains, and Venus here typically creates opportunities for financial progress, improved networking, and support from influential connections. The conjunction with Ketu implies that not all desires may be fully satisfied. You may achieve some goals but feel strangely detached from them, or you may notice that old ambitions no longer hold the same meaning they once did. For some Libra individuals, this could indicate leaving behind certain friendships or communities that no longer align with your values. For others, it may suggest shifting your definition of success, moving from purely materialistic pursuits towards something more purposeful. The 8th house rulership of Venus further emphasizes transformation. There could be gains through inheritance, joint resources, or investments, but equally, there may be sudden fluctuations that force you to reconsider your long-term plans. Jupiter's ongoing transit through Gemini activates your 9th house, which brings blessings in the form of wisdom, travel, higher learning, and expansion of vision. This is highly supportive for Libra individuals who wish to broaden their horizons or engage in studies that shape long-term goals. You may find guidance from mentors or benefactors, and there could be a chance to collaborate with people from different cultures or backgrounds. Still, Venus conjunct Ketu in Leo demands that you choose these associations carefully. Not every connection that appears attractive on the surface will bring true fulfillment, so discernment is key. Saturn's retrograde in Pisces occurs in your 6th house, adding another layer of complexity to this period. The 6th house deals with work routines, responsibilities, health, and service, and Saturn here in retrograde motion emphasizes unfinished tasks, reevaluations in professional duties, and the need for discipline in daily life. While Venus in your 11th house urges you to focus on gains and social networks, Saturn reminds you that success will only be sustainable through consistent effort, humility, and responsibility. Some Libra individuals may feel torn between the desire for recognition and the demands of routine obligations, but Saturn ensures that the lessons learned now will build the discipline necessary for long-term success. The retrograde also indicates that health matters need attention. Overindulgence in social activities under Venus's influence may affect your energy, so maintaining balance is important. The solar eclipse on September 21, 2025, in Virgo occurs in your 12th house, bringing a moment of spiritual awakening, endings, and hidden revelations. Since the eclipse involves the Sun, the ruler of Leo, your 11th house, in proximity with Ketu and exalted Mercury, it ties directly into the themes of Venus conjunct Ketu in your 11th. This suggests that some desires or friendships may be eclipsed, making space for new goals to emerge. The eclipse in the 12th house often brings hidden truths to light. Matters related to expenses, subconscious patterns, or even secret alliances may surface. This is a deeply karmic phase for Libra individuals, as both the eclipse and Venus's position with Ketu suggest that you are being guided to release attachments to outdated ambitions and align with a higher sense of purpose. While this may initially feel unsettling, it ultimately clears the path for more authentic goals and meaningful connections. Mercury's movements during this period are particularly impactful for you, as it is exalted in Virgo from September 15th, just as Venus enters Leo. Mercury in your 12th house sharpens analytical thinking but also makes you introspective, encouraging solitude and reflection. This complements the eclipse energy, giving you clarity about what needs to be released. The presence of Mars in Libra from September 13th adds further intensity to your personality. You may come across as more confident and decisive than usual, but also more prone to conflict if you do not carefully moderate your tone. By October 3rd, Mercury enters Libra and joins Mars in your 1st house. This conjunction will energize your self-expression and assertiveness. For Libra individuals who often seek harmony and balance, this could feel like a push to become more direct, bold, and action-oriented. Financially, Venus in the 11th house often brings opportunities for gains, especially through creative pursuits, networking, or alliances. Yet, the conjunction with Ketu indicates that gains may come in unconventional or unexpected ways. For some, this could mean financial success through hidden channels, spiritual activities, or even letting go of a previous source of income to embrace something new. The solar eclipse in your 12th house highlights expenses, so it is wise to remain cautious about unnecessary spending during this period. While opportunities for wealth exist, careful management and a willingness to adapt to changing circumstances are essential. Romantically, Venus as your 1st house ruler in the 11th can bring opportunities to connect with like-minded individuals, possibly through social gatherings or community involvement. For singles, this transit may spark romantic connections that feel karmic or fated, especially with Ketu's involvement. Ketu also creates detachment, meaning that some relationships may begin with intensity but quickly lose momentum. For those in committed partnerships, this is a time to align shared goals and aspirations, though differences in social desires or financial expectations may need balancing. Saturn retrograde in the 6th adds a test to relationships, asking for patience and practical effort rather than romantic idealism. Venus conjunct Ketu in the 11th encourages you to detach from superficial gains and move towards spiritual wealth, while the solar eclipse in the 12th pushes you to confront hidden fears and karmic residues. Practices such as meditation, journaling, or charitable service may feel more fulfilling than chasing material goals. Dreams and subconscious insights may carry messages, guiding you to embrace a new direction. Jupiter in the 9th ensures that divine protection and wisdom are present, helping you see the bigger picture even when circumstances feel uncertain. Overall, for Libra individuals, Venus's transit into Leo in the 11th house brings both opportunities and karmic lessons. While gains, friendships, and ambitions are highlighted, the conjunction with Ketu ensures that these areas will be filtered through detachment, spiritual growth, and karmic closure. With Mars and Mercury moving into Libra, you will emerge from this period with newfound strength, clarity, and confidence. This is not just a time for achieving goals but for redefining what truly matters to you, aligning your ambitions with your soul's deeper purpose. For Scorpio, the movement of Venus into Leo, your 10th house of career, reputation, and public image, marks an important period where professional life, authority, and recognition become central themes. Venus is the ruler of your 7th house of partnerships and the 12th house of foreign connections, expenditure, and spirituality. Its placement in the 10th house links your career path with partnerships, contracts, and international influences. Venus in Leo will be conjunct Ketu, and this significantly alters the usual charm, grace, and harmony that Venus is known for. The conjunction can bring a sense of detachment, karmic tests, or confusion in career matters, especially where partnerships or alliances are concerned. Venus loses directional strength in the 10th house, meaning that while career and professional themes are strongly activated, Venus struggles to express its full natural qualities here. The 10th house represents authority, achievements, reputation, and one's contribution to the larger world. Venus here usually brings an elegant and creative touch to professional matters, and individuals may gain recognition for artistic, diplomatic, or people-oriented work. But with Ketu alongside, there can be a feeling of disconnection from worldly success. Even if you achieve recognition or admiration, it may not feel satisfying, as though something deeper is missing. This is an important karmic lesson for Scorpio individuals. Success without purpose does not bring fulfillment. You may be asked to reassess your career goals and determine whether they align with your spiritual growth and values. Saturn's retrograde in Pisces, your 5th house of creativity, children, romance, and speculative ventures, is strongly shaping this transit. Saturn retrograde makes you revisit your approach toward creative expression, romantic involvements, or even your educational pursuits. The link between the 5th and 10th houses becomes very relevant here. Your creative ideas, speculative activities, and decision-making abilities directly influence your professional success. Saturn's retrograde ensures that only well-thought-out and responsible choices bear fruit, while shortcuts or reckless decisions may backfire. Jupiter's transit in Gemini, your 8th house, further emphasizes transformation, hidden matters, joint finances, and inheritance. Jupiter here expands your interest in deeper knowledge, research, or even occult sciences, but it also brings volatility in areas like shared resources, loans, and taxes. For Scorpio people, this placement often brings hidden support or wisdom from unconventional sources, but it also exposes vulnerabilities in financial partnerships. When combined with Venus in the 10th house, this suggests that career opportunities may come through sudden or hidden channels, joint ventures, or karmic partnerships. With Ketu in the mix, not everything will be as it appears. You may need to be cautious with contracts, especially if they involve foreign collaborations or long-term commitments. The solar eclipse on September 21, 2025, occurs in Virgo, your 11th house of gains, social networks, elder siblings, and aspirations. The energy of this eclipse connects directly to your professional life, ambitions, and social networks. Eclipses often reveal hidden truths and trigger sudden shifts, and this one may expose whether your current friendships, alliances, or professional networks are genuinely supportive of your long-term goals. Since exalted Mercury is involved, there may be critical discussions, paperwork, or negotiations that bring clarity after a phase of confusion. The eclipse period itself is not ideal for making irreversible decisions, especially in matters of career and finances. Mars, the ruler of Scorpio, will enter Libra on September 13th, moving into your 12th house, where it will later join Mercury on October 3rd. This is a powerful shift because Mars in the 12th can stir restlessness, hidden competition, or expenses, but it also sharpens your interest in spiritual practices, research, and behind-the-scenes efforts. With Mars forming a conjunction with Mercury in early October, your communication, planning, and strategic efforts may take a more secretive or private direction. This can be beneficial if you are involved in research, writing, or preparing for long-term professional changes. It may also bring hidden enemies or conflicts in partnerships if you are not cautious in your words and actions. The link between Mars in the 12th and Venus in the 10th suggests that career moves may require sacrifice, effort behind the scenes, or even detachment from certain associations. Another aspect worth noting is Venus's rulership of your 7th house of relationships and 12th house of isolation. Its placement in the 10th house indicates that partnerships, both personal and professional, will directly affect your reputation and public image during this time. Married Scorpios may find that their spouse's actions or support, or lack thereof, strongly influence their career trajectory. For those in business partnerships, this transit may bring both opportunities and sudden endings, especially due to Ketu's unpredictable influence. In matters of love, Venus conjunct Ketu may trigger detachment or disillusionment, where you realize that a relationship does not align with your long-term aspirations. Health and emotional balance are also themes to watch during this period. Since Venus rules your 12th house and is placed in the 10th, work-related stress or career demands could affect sleep patterns, mental peace, or general health. Saturn retrograde in the 5th can add mental heaviness, especially if decisions feel delayed or uncertain. It is important for Scorpio individuals to consciously create routines that balance professional responsibilities with rest and self-care. Spiritual practices, meditation, or simply detaching from unnecessary conflicts can help reduce the pressure of this period. Financially, this transit can bring both gains and losses, depending on how you handle opportunities. With Venus ruling the 12th, expenses may rise, especially on luxuries, foreign travels, or matters related to career visibility. At the same time, Jupiter and the May 8th bring unexpected financial support, inheritance, or gains through partnerships. Though with Venus Ketu in play, it is important not to rely blindly on others' promises. Contracts, investments, and property matters should be handled with caution, especially around the eclipse period. Overall, Venus's transit in Leo for Scorpio individuals is not about superficial success, but about understanding the deeper meaning behind your professional and social standing. Venus's loss of directional strength in the 10th reminds you that fame or recognition is not the ultimate goal. With Ketu conjunct Venus, many Scorpios may feel that success, while present, does not satisfy on a soul level. This is the universe's way of urging you to redefine success, align career with purpose, and detach from external validation. For Sagittarius, the movement of Venus into the 9th house in Leo brings a period where matters of higher learning, spiritual pursuits, and destiny-related experiences come to the forefront. Since Venus governs the 6th and 11th houses for Sagittarius, its transit into the 9th merges themes of service, responsibilities, financial networks, and social alliances with wisdom, philosophy, and divine guidance. The presence of Ketu alongside Venus in Leo adds an extra layer of karmic undertone to this transit, signaling that experiences related to teachers, mentors, long journeys, and dharmic alignment may not come in straightforward ways. Instead, the energy pushes Sagittarius individuals toward detachment, a need for clarity, and an inner quest for meaning. This can be a spiritually enlightening period, but also one where material expectations regarding guidance, mentors, or foreign connections may be clouded by confusion or disconnection. It is as if destiny is nudging you to rely more on wisdom rather than blindly seeking external support. The retrograde Saturn in Pisces during this time is casting its subtle but strong influence on the 4th house, representing home, emotional grounding, and inner stability. This retrograde energy suggests that you may be reevaluating your foundations, your sense of security, and even past family dynamics. The transit of Venus in the 9th house may pull you outward toward travel, philosophical studies, or the search for truth, while Saturn reminds you that your roots and inner harmony also require attention. This creates a push and pull effect where you are called to balance external exploration with inner responsibility. You may feel that obligations at home restrict your ability to fully embrace new opportunities in learning or travel, but this friction is actually guiding you toward a more balanced approach between personal growth and family responsibilities. Jupiter, the ruling planet of Sagittarius, is transiting Gemini in the 7th house during this period, highlighting relationships, partnerships, and collaboration. This placement indicates that guidance, wisdom, and opportunities often come through one-on-one interactions and agreements. The Venus transit in Leo adds another layer, making it likely that relationships with teachers, mentors, or even spiritual guides could play a transformative role. With Venus conjunct Ketu, some partnerships or alliances may feel karmic in nature, meaning they could bring valuable lessons but also require detachment or acceptance of impermanence. Those in business partnerships may experience fluctuating dynamics, where opportunities arise but require discernment and patience. It's not the best time to rely blindly on others' advice, especially in financial or contractual matters, as the solar eclipse energy later in the month may bring hidden factors to light. The solar eclipse on September 21, 2025, occurring in Virgo with the Sun near Ketu and exalted Mercury, deeply impacts the 10th house for Sagittarius individuals. This is the area of career, recognition, and public life. An eclipse here suggests that shifts in your professional path are imminent. Combined with Venus in the 9th house, this period points toward a reevaluation of your long-term goals, your alignment with truth, and whether your career path is in harmony with your higher calling. Since Mercury, the natural ruler of intellect and communication, is exalted during this eclipse, clarity may come after initial confusion. Eclipses usually reveal what is hidden and obscure vision temporarily, so it is advisable to avoid making impulsive career decisions during this period. Instead, use the time to reflect, analyze, and prepare for changes that may fully materialize in the weeks following the eclipse. travel, and spiritual growth are also highly emphasized under this Venus transit. Many Sagittarius individuals may feel drawn toward foreign journeys, pilgrimages, or deeper philosophical studies. The influence of Ketu with Venus suggests that these journeys may not always be about material enjoyment or luxury, but more about inner discovery and karmic resolution. Encounters with teachers, gurus, or foreign cultures could have a profound impact, though they may not provide immediate satisfaction. Instead, the lessons may unfold gradually, forcing you to look within and develop self-reliance. Some may also experience a sense of detachment from traditional religious structures, preferring instead to carve their own path of spiritual understanding. In terms of relationships, since Venus is the natural significator of love and rules the 11th house of social circles for Sagittarius, this transit can bring karmic encounters with friends or communities. Ketu's presence may also create misunderstandings, distance, or unexpected endings in certain friendships. You may feel the need to withdraw from superficial circles and instead focus on fewer but more meaningful connections. For those in romantic relationships, the influence of the 9th house may manifest as travel with a partner, discussions about shared beliefs, or growth through spiritual or educational activities. But again, clarity is essential, as Venus with Ketu may make situations appear different from reality. Finances may also see a shift during this time. Since Venus rules the 6th house of debts and daily work, as well as the 11th house of gains, its transit through the 9th house can open opportunities related to international projects, foreign income, or earnings through intellectual and spiritual pursuits. Ketu's influence cautions against relying solely on speculative ventures or promises of quick returns. Discipline and patience are necessary, and Saturn retrograde in Pisces will ensure that shortcuts are not sustainable. Any financial decisions should be well thought out, especially around the eclipse period, when clarity may be temporarily obscured. Health-wise, Sagittarius individuals may need to pay attention to imbalances that arise due to stress or overexertion, particularly if they are engaging in long-distance travel or higher studies. Since Venus also governs the 6th house of health challenges, its presence in the 9th house alongside Ketu could bring issues related to the hips, thighs, or liver. Maintaining a balanced lifestyle, avoiding indulgences, and following a disciplined routine can help counteract these tendencies. Ultimately, the Venus transit in Leo for Sagittarius people marks a period of spiritual recalibration and karmic insight. While it may initially feel as though certain doors are closing or mentors are less available, this phase is designed to redirect your energy towards self-reliance and inner wisdom. Saturn's retrograde asks you to reconsider your foundations, Jupiter in Gemini brings opportunities through partnerships, and the solar eclipse demands a reevaluation of your career path. If navigated with patience, awareness, and humility, this period can lead to profound personal and spiritual growth, setting the stage for greater alignment between your professional path and your higher calling. For Capricorn, Venus rules the 5th house of creativity, love, progeny, and speculative gains, along with the 10th house of career, reputation, and public standing. When Venus transits the 8th house in Leo, it enters a domain that represents transformation, sudden changes, mysteries, shared resources, inheritance, and matters that often remain hidden beneath the surface. The 8th house is traditionally considered a house of uncertainty, but it is also the gateway to profound research, occult wisdom, and deep emotional healing. With Venus conjunct Ketu in Leo, this transit intensifies themes of detachment, spiritual awakening, and a strong pull toward exploring subjects that go beyond the material plane. For Capricorn individuals, this becomes a time of introspection, research, and karmic realignment in matters connected with both love and profession. The conjunction of Venus and Ketu in the 8th house suggests a departure from superficial desires and relationships. While Venus naturally seeks harmony, beauty, and pleasure, Ketu tends to dissolve attachments and expose illusions. This means relationships may go through a phase of testing, where hidden truths emerge, and clarity is sought through emotional transformation. Some individuals may feel distance from their partners, while others may experience sudden realizations that change the way they look at intimacy and shared resources. This period may also bring karmic encounters in love, where old connections resurface to settle unfinished matters. For some, it could even be a time of exploring various dimensions of relationships, since the 8th house governs both hidden intimacy and spiritual union. Saturn, the ruling planet of Capricorn, is currently retrograding in Pisces in the 3rd house. This placement emphasizes communication, courage, skills, and efforts, but the retrograde motion indicates delays, revisions, or lessons tied to past actions. The influence of Saturn reminds Capricorn individuals that growth requires patience and disciplined effort. During Venus's transit in the 8th house, Saturn's retrograde ensures that whatever hidden knowledge or transformations you experience must be grounded in reality and not taken at face value. This combination enhances the desire to research, investigate, and dig deeper into subjects of interest, whether related to the occult, healing sciences, or financial matters tied to inheritance and shared assets. Saturn pushes you to analyze details, revisit past communication patterns, and take a serious approach to partnerships and agreements. Jupiter's transit in Gemini in the 6th house brings expansion in the area of daily work, service, health, and competition. For Capricorn individuals, this energy highlights opportunities through work routines, learning new skills, and improving health practices. Since Venus rules the 10th house and is now in the 8th, career growth may come in unconventional ways, perhaps through research-based work, joint ventures, or opportunities tied to others' resources. Some individuals may gain recognition in fields that involve investigation, healing, or management of shared finances. Jupiter in the 6th also means that competition will be high, and discipline is required to balance workload and health. The combination of Venus in the 8th and Jupiter in the May 6th also encourage a greater interest in service-oriented practices, such as counseling, holistic healing, or even charity work. The solar eclipse on September 21, 2025, occurring in Virgo, directly impacts Capricorn's 9th house of higher learning, destiny, foreign travel, and dharma. Eclipses tend to bring sudden revelations, and this one may cause Capricorn individuals to reconsider their beliefs, philosophies, or long-term goals. The exalted Mercury ensures that clarity will eventually come, but initially, there may be confusion or hidden truths surfacing. Since Venus in the 8th house is already highlighting research and hidden knowledge, the eclipse further emphasizes the need for deep reflection. Questions about purpose, morality, and higher guidance may arise. This is not the ideal period for impulsive decisions regarding travel, legal matters, or higher education, as eclipses obscure vision temporarily. Instead, it is better to observe, analyze, and allow the truth to unfold after the eclipse has passed. Mars will be transiting Libra and aspecting Capricorn, further energizing the native's 1st house of self and personality. This aspect from Mars can bring determination, drive, and a strong desire to assert yourself in career and personal matters. It may also create restlessness or conflicts if not channeled wisely. The fiery influence of Mars combined with the transformative energy of Venus in the 8th house may push Capricorn individuals to dig deeper into hidden matters, investigate the truth, and take bold steps toward transformation. There may also be sudden decisions related to partnerships or joint ventures, but it is essential to temper impulsiveness with Saturn's disciplined influence. Financially, Venus's presence in the 8th house opens the door for gains through inheritance, spouse's resources, or joint investments. Some may receive support from in-laws or unexpected financial benefits from past deeds. Ketu's involvement means these gains may come with detachment, delays, or conditions that require acceptance. This is a period where Capricorn individuals should avoid risky speculation or over-reliance on others' promises, as illusions could be shattered. Instead, it is better to focus on long-term stability, debt management, and realistic financial planning. Those involved in research, banking, insurance, or healing-related professions may find new avenues for income. In terms of creativity, since Venus rules the 5th house, this transit also influences artistic expression, children, and speculative ventures. The 8th house placement suggests that creativity may flow in unconventional or hidden forms. Some may feel drawn to mysticism, esoteric studies, or even writing and artistic expression related to taboo or transformative subjects. For those with children, this period may bring karmic lessons, requiring patience and understanding in relationships with them. Educational or creative projects involving children may also undergo sudden changes or require adjustments. Health-wise, the 8th house transit of Venus points toward the need for emotional balance, as stress and suppressed emotions could manifest physically. Since Jupiter is in the 6th house, it offers support in health matters, but overindulgence or neglect of routine could cause imbalances. Attention should be given to reproductive health, hormonal balance, and mental well-being. Practices such as meditation can be particularly beneficial during this period, helping Capricorn individuals align with the transformative energy of the 8th house. Ultimately, the transit of Venus and Leo in the 8th house for Capricorn individuals is not just about material changes but about spiritual and emotional transformation. It is a period where hidden truths may emerge, relationships may be tested, and deeper layers of self-awareness can be accessed. If navigated with patience, awareness, and openness to change, this period can lead to profound growth, greater wisdom, and a redefined sense of purpose. For Aquarius, Venus rules the 4th house of home, emotional stability, property, and mother, as well as the 9th house of higher learning, luck, long-distance travel, and blessings from teachers or gurus. When Venus transits through the 7th house of partnerships in Leo, a very significant area of life comes under focus: relationships, marriage, business alliances, and how you connect with others on a one-to-one basis. The 7th house is naturally associated with Venus, so its presence here is powerful, but the conjunction with Ketu creates a complex dynamic. This is a period when your relationships may undergo karmic testing. Themes of detachment, hidden truths, and reorientation of expectations are likely to surface. The presence of Ketu alongside Venus suggests that love, partnerships, or alliances may not provide the usual sense of fulfillment. Instead, they push you to question the depth and authenticity of your connections. The 7th house being activated means that partnerships, whether romantic or professional, will demand attention. Those in committed relationships may notice distance or emotional disconnection, as Ketu tends to dissolve worldly bonds and highlight the spiritual essence of union. For some Aquarians, this could manifest as reevaluating the purpose of their marriage or questioning whether current bonds align with their higher path. On the other hand, singles may attract karmic connections, partners who seem fated but who come with lessons rather than long-term stability. Business partnerships may also bring both opportunities and challenges, as Venus brings attraction and benefits, but Ketu introduces unpredictability or lack of clarity. It's important to avoid making impulsive commitments or entering into agreements without full transparency during this time. Saturn, the ruling planet of Aquarius, is retrograding in Pisces in the 2nd house of finances, values, and speech. This energy requires Aquarians to reassess financial structures, spending habits, and the foundations of security. It may also force you to re-examine the value you place on relationships and how your words impact them. Saturn retrograde here asks for discipline and patience, ensuring that your financial dealings are honest and sustainable. With Venus transiting the 7th house, some Aquarians may find themselves dealing with joint financial matters, such as spouses' income, shared assets, or business-related finances. Ketu's influence could create confusion or detachment in these matters, so clear communication and cautious handling of money are essential. Jupiter, currently moving through Gemini in the 5th house, adds another dimension to this transit. The 5th house governs love, creativity, children, and speculative gains. Jupiter here expands your capacity for joy, self-expression, and learning. When Venus transits the 7th house during this time, love life and partnerships could feel simultaneously expansive and uncertain. Jupiter provides the potential for romance and inspiration, but Ketu with Venus asks you to evaluate the spiritual depth of these connections. Creative ventures may benefit from collaborations, but clarity is required to ensure fairness in agreements. For those seeking children or planning educational pursuits, Jupiter's transit supports progress, though patience is needed during the eclipse period when hidden dynamics may surface. The solar eclipse on September 21, 2025, in Virgo directly impacts Aquarius's 8th house of transformation, shared resources, inheritance, and hidden matters. With the Sun aligned with exalted Mercury, this eclipse brings revelations about financial matters, joint assets, or even intimacy. The 8th house being highlighted alongside Venus in the 7th creates a strong emphasis on partnerships, both personal and financial. Issues related to trust, shared money, or in-laws could come into focus. Since eclipses often obscure clarity, it is best to avoid making major decisions about shared wealth or deep commitments during this time. This eclipse can serve as a powerful catalyst for transformation, revealing hidden truths and pushing you to align relationships with your core values and destiny. Exalted Mercury ensures that clarity and solutions will eventually emerge, but patience is necessary. Venus's rulership of the 4th and 9th houses also brings in themes of home, comfort, spiritual guidance, and higher wisdom into this transit. With Venus in the 7th, you may find that relationships act as mirrors for your inner state of peace and alignment with destiny. If there is harmony within, partnerships will reflect it. If there are unresolved conflicts, this period will bring them to light. Ketu ensures that you cannot remain blind to patterns that no longer serve your growth. For some Aquarians, this could even be a time of rethinking where they live, as partnerships or family dynamics influence decisions about home or property. Matters of faith and philosophy may also become central, as partners may challenge or shape your belief systems. Mars in Libra during this period further intensifies the dynamics, as it energizes the 9th house of higher learning, travel, and fortune. Mars in Libra may bring opportunities for travel or active engagement with higher studies. Its influence with Libra Lord Venus in the 7th house can stir passions in relationships, but it can also provoke arguments if balance and diplomacy are not maintained. The fiery energy of Mars must be channeled wisely, especially since Ketu's detachment can create misunderstandings. Assertiveness combined with patience will be the key to maintaining harmony. Financially, Venus in the 7th house can bring gains through partnerships, business collaborations, or spouse's income. Ketu's presence warns against overdependence on others or rushing into ventures without due diligence. Saturn retrograde in the 2nd house reinforces the need for careful handling of resources. In some cases, there may be sudden expenses related to legal matters, contracts, or family obligations. Long-term gains are possible if you take a patient and ethical approach to money management during this period. On the health front, the combination of Venus and Ketu in the 7th can sometimes affect reproductive health or bring stress linked to relationships. Since the 7th also governs the lower abdomen and kidneys, it is important to take care of hydration, balance, and diet. With Jupiter in the 5th house supporting vitality, adopting a more playful, creative lifestyle can help reduce stress. Overall, this transit of Venus through Leo in the 7th house for Aquarius individuals is a deeply karmic period that highlights relationships, partnerships, and shared values. With Ketu's influence, there will be tests of authenticity, detachment from superficial expectations, and opportunities for spiritual growth through partnerships. Saturn retrograde demands financial discipline and maturity in communication. Jupiter expands romance and creativity, while the solar eclipse brings hidden truths to the surface regarding shared resources and intimacy. Navigated with awareness, this period can transform how you approach relationships and set the foundation for partnerships that align with your deeper destiny. For Pisces, Venus is the ruler of the 3rd house of communication, effort, skills, and younger siblings, as well as the 8th house of transformation, inheritance, secrets, and sudden events. When Venus transits Leo in the 6th house, a part of life associated with work, service, health, disputes, and daily responsibilities becomes activated. This is not an easy placement for Venus because the 6th house naturally represents challenges, competition, and situations that require effort. At the same time, Venus conjunct Ketu in Leo makes this transit even more complex, pulling your attention toward karmic debts and testing the balance between desires and detachment in practical aspects of life. Matters connected to service, relationships in the workplace, and responsibilities toward others will be highlighted. The 6th house is where enemies, rivals, and obstacles reside, but it also represents the strength to overcome them. With Venus here, Pisces individuals may face situations where relationships or partnerships enter into a space of conflict or misunderstanding, particularly in professional settings. Ketu's presence indicates that disputes may not always be external. Rather, they could be internal struggles related to detachment, dissatisfaction, or lack of clarity in daily routines. Some individuals might feel that no matter how much effort they put into work or service, they are not receiving adequate appreciation or recognition. Venus in Leo generally likes attention and acknowledgement, but Ketu ensures that this satisfaction is short-lived, pushing you to reconsider why you are doing what you do. Saturn, currently retrograding in Pisces in the 1st house, adds another layer of weight to this transit. As your sign lord, Saturn retrograde directly influences your approach to life, identity, and responsibilities. This is a period of serious self-reflection, requiring you to slow down and build foundations patiently. Saturn's aspect on the 7th and 10th houses also indicates that both partnerships and career paths demand reconsideration. With Venus in the 6th house during this retrograde, Pisces individuals may need to redefine the balance between personal desires and the obligations they carry. It may feel like a karmic cycle is resurfacing, where old responsibilities or patterns reappear, forcing you to deal with them before moving forward. Saturn's retrograde energy will help ground you, but it may also slow down progress, testing your patience and resilience. Jupiter's transit in Gemini in the 4th house of home, emotional security, and inner stability is another key factor influencing this Venus transit. Jupiter brings expansion and wisdom into the area of domestic life, family, and inner peace. It can offer support and guidance during the Venus-Ketu challenges. With Jupiter's expansive energy in the 4th, you may find solace through family, learning, or nurturing activities at home. Yet, the tension between Venus in the 6th house and Jupiter in the 4th can create a pull between serving others outside and finding comfort within. Some Pisces individuals may feel stretched between workplace duties and family needs, making it essential to prioritize and maintain balance. Jupiter's wisdom will help you navigate these challenges if you consciously lean into patience, compassion, and clear communication. The solar eclipse on September 21, 2025, in Virgo takes place in your 7th house of partnerships. The 7th house eclipse will bring hidden truths and transformative experiences related to marriage, business partnerships, and close one-to-one relationships. With exalted Mercury in Virgo during the eclipse, communication issues may be exposed, and clarity will slowly emerge. Eclipses often create temporary confusion, so this is not the time for making binding commitments or rushing into decisions about relationships. Instead, it is a period for observing and understanding what shifts are unfolding in your partnerships. The link between Venus in the 6th and the eclipse in the 7th suggests that relationships may undergo trials, especially if unresolved disputes or imbalances of effort exist. Since Venus also rules your 8th house, its presence in the 6th can stir matters related to transformation, hidden debts, or sudden obligations. Some Pisces individuals may face sudden work-related changes, unexpected expenses, or obligations connected to in-laws or joint resources. The 8th house rulership of Venus also makes this transit karmic in nature, as the 6th house deals with debts and service. You may feel compelled to serve others in a selfless way, or you may face situations where you are forced to let go of expectations in service-related areas. Ketu intensifies this by creating feelings of detachment from worldly recognition, nudging you towards spiritual service or a deeper understanding of what devotion truly means. Mars in Libra during this time adds energy to your 8th house, further highlighting themes of transformation, joint finances, and sudden changes. Its aspect on the 2nd house of wealth and family means financial dealings must be handled carefully. There can be opportunities for financial gains through partnerships, but with Ketu's energy entangled with Venus, clarity may be lacking. Hidden matters regarding money could surface, so this is a period to be transparent in financial dealings. Mars in the 8th can also trigger deep emotional responses, so balancing logic with intuition is necessary to avoid unnecessary disputes. Health is another important area of focus during this Venus transit in the 6th house. Since the 6th represents ailments, Venus here can sometimes show issues related to sugar levels, reproductive health, or problems caused by indulgence. With Ketu's influence, there may be a sense of neglect or ignorance toward health routines. Saturn retrograde in the 1st emphasizes the importance of taking care of the body, building stamina, and developing a disciplined lifestyle. This is a good time to re-establish healthy habits and routines, even if motivation feels low. Spiritual practices like meditation or devotion can greatly improve mental well-being during this period. On a positive side, Venus in the 6th can awaken a love for service. Many Pisces individuals may find joy in volunteering, helping the underprivileged, or working with animals. The highest form of Venus manifests in service and devotion, and when placed in the 6th house, it has the opportunity to express this energy beautifully. With Ketu's conjunction, worldly pleasures may feel less satisfying, but acts of selfless service will bring inner peace and fulfillment. This is an excellent time to engage in charitable activities or to connect with communities where your talents can be of use. Overall, the transit of Venus in Leo through the 6th house for Pisces individuals is a karmic period that blends challenges with opportunities for spiritual growth. Venus conjunct Ketu emphasizes detachment in relationships and service, testing your ability to handle disputes and obligations without clinging to expectations. If approached with awareness, this period can help Pisces individuals align more deeply with the true essence of Venus: service, devotion, and unconditional love, transforming challenges into stepping stones for long-term growth. As we conclude this episode, please keep in mind that these insights are based on the Sidereal Zodiac system used in Vedic Astrology, which differs from the tropical system by approximately 24 degrees. These are general predictions, and outcomes will vary depending on your individual birth chart. The influence of transits is deeply shaped by your ongoing dasha periods and the specific placement of planets in your natal chart. What may be a time of progress for one person could mark a period of reflection or challenge for another. This is why it's essential to interpret transits within the context of your unique chart. If you're seeking a more personalized understanding of how current transits may impact you, or if you have specific questions about your birth chart, feel free to reach out to us. If you found this content helpful, please consider liking the video, sharing it with others who may benefit, and subscribing to our channel. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you don't miss future updates. Thank you for watching. We look forward to continuing to share deeper astrological insights with you. Until next time, stay aware, keep learning, and keep shining bright.